Hello, this video is to talk a little bit more about imaginary numbers. So in my previous video, we talked about there is complex numbers which divide into um, real numbers as well as complex numbers, and then each category is subdivided even more. With imaginary numbers, that's something where when you square root it, it ends up being like a negative number. So for example, the square root of negative 16. So if you had this happen when you did the quadratic formula, and you would find out that you basically don't have any roots because it's not possible. So your parabola is something where on a graph, it's clearly never going to touch the x-axis. So it could either open up like this or it could open down, and which is known as rootless from our project we did. Um, Now, when you have this situation happen, you would say there's no real number solution. But again, as I mentioned, as you get further in high school and you get into Algebra 2, you'll be talking about what's known as an imaginary number. Now, imaginary number has this I symbol, which stands for an imaginary number. And what it really represents is the square root of negative 1. So if I was really trying to simplify this using imaginary numbers, what I would do is the square root of negative 16 is like saying the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 16. And therefore, the square root of 16 is 4. And then anytime I have the square root of negative 1, that would be my imaginary number. So that's why my solution to this would be 4i. So again, sometimes as far as writing out a solution to it, if you want to use imaginary number to it, but again, for the purposes of what we've been talking about, you can just say it's not possible for real numbers.